Well, that didn't take long, didn't it? We're able to actually just to prepare myself with this recording session, so... Hey, what's up everybody? I am the one and only Pac-Man here, and once again, I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Wii Party for the Nintendo Wii. So yesterday, we did manage to able to play matchup, and that was actually a pretty close call at the end as well, just because about the fact that one of our rival opponents just somehow managed to get very lucky from, let's just say in round 5 or something like that. But ultimately speaking though, I still managed to dominate my victory for that very good memorization. So today, let us begin with the next mode in the pair games, which appears to be Balanced Boat. So again, no friend connection because it only locks behind the forms of just only 2 players requirements. So, the same applies to the majority of the house party stuff you know as well. But anyways though, let's just go and get started with the forms of today's video is Balanced Boat. So, I might be interested with this though, despite I'm not very great at this mode though, only because of one thing, which I'll explain more details about that. Try to balance 20 Mii characters on the boat without tipping it over. Teamwork is the key to victory. So, right off the get-go, you probably noticed that I haven't exactly unlocked everything, so as a result, the only mode we can only do is double up. So, anyways, let's go ahead and switch over to a different meat this time, which I'm gonna go for Warrior for this one. So in this case though, we can pretty much expect how this is going, and we have George with us. So we have 3 difficulties here, so at the moment we can only play Beginner, and then immediately after this though, you would able to unlock 2 other difficulties respectively, like Meteorite, Expert, and even especially noticeable with that secondary mode that you will able to unlock. That I think you have to unlock that by completing all 3 difficulties, which I'm gonna have to be straightly brutally honest for this point. It's not gonna happen here. Especially noticeable because, well, I'll explain more details about that if we get this started. So, anyways, let's see how this mode plays out. In this game, you'll try to balance Mii characters on a boat without tipping it over. Each round, you'll play a cooperative mini-game to determine the size of the 2 Mii characters you balanced. If you clear this minigame, the Mii characters will be the same size. If you lose, they will be mismatched. Each Mii character or each Mii will be wearing a green, yellow, or purple outfit. Place each Mii on the pole of the same color. If you and your partner are able to balance 20 Mii characters on the boat successfully, you win the game. However, if the boat tips over and any Mii characters fall in the water, it's game overboard. Because obviously it'll be game over by then. So, yeah, we have to go through 10 rounds on this. So, anyways, let's begin with the first cooperative minigame, Color Coordination. Cross this wacky contraption by stepping on these color switches to help each other advance. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and use directional pad to move. So, yeah, when it comes to the forms of the majority of Balanced Boat mode, you'll be playing a lot of pair minigames, which I will say, it does kind of reminds me of the forms of those Bowser Jr. minigames in Mario Party 9. Well, the only major difference is this time though, on the other hand though, is that this game has a lot of pair minigames, whilst compared to Mario Party 9, only has like 10 of those Bowser Jr. based minigames. So, yeah, that could be pretty much summarized as such. So, yeah, the ultimate goal in Balanced Boat is pretty simple. It's just the fact that you have to win several minigames in order to advance. And then next thing you know is the fact that if you win the actual minigame, like we just did right there, we're able to actually get the exact same amount of size for the specific Mii characters. But, on the other hand, if you lose the minigame, turns out that you won't be able to actually get the exact same size. So, all you really get is just basically it's like a different sized Miis. So, and afterwards though, you get able to do a bit of thinking strategy kind of thing. And because of that though, if the actual boat is balanced, then it will be safe. But if not, it's pretty much over. So, can poppers shoot the cans to keep them in the air? Each shot is worth 1 point, but you'll lose 2 if they hit the ground. So, actually kind of think about it, there was actually the equivalent to this minigame somewhere in the 4-player minigames catalog, along with the forms of the dual variation here and there as well, but slightly different slightly. But either way though, we need to aim for 30 points on this. So yeah, as a result, depending on what specific pair minigame you go to, basically you do have a different objective. So like for example, well, the first minigame we already did done, it's pretty obvious, reach the goal. And then in the forms of this minigame, as you can see, we need to aim for 30 points. And then during later on, that basically some of these objectives are usually points based, and it certainly needs to be required. But I'll explain more details about that until whenever we're able to just, well, keep on like, you know, doing this mode. However though, unfortunately though, like I said before, I'm not usually a master at this mode though. Well, nothing to do with the minigames though, because I'm pretty good with most minigames. It's just this entire mode itself. Because obviously the key here is the fact that you have to require to able to balance it. However, if you don't balance well enough though, like I said this before, it's pretty much game over and you have to start all over again. And that's the reason why I'm just gonna be able to actually say this right now. This will be the only time I'll show you guys that. So, Torchlit Terror, it's dangerous to go alone. Take a torch each and disable the ghosts by shining the light at them. So yeah, basically we have to do a lot of pointing Wii Remote style. So because of that though, so just in case we can able to, you know what I mean, get rid of these ghosts as much as possible. And his simple objective is just escape. And also another thing as well is the fact that, well, there's actually that secondary mode you can get if you manage to complete all 3 difficulties in double up mode. I think you get a time attack version of that particular mode. And I think all it does is basically, it's kind of like the same thing as the double up, except as far as I'm aware, it actually does not give you any mini games to trigger at all. So it's all just a matter of like bragging rights, I guess. So yeah, unfortunately for the sake of time, like I said before, I think this will be the only singular run-through of this entirety of balance mode, because I'm not very great at this mode, like I said before. But I'm showing you guys just to ensure about the fact of how this mode plays out, and I'm sure that most Let's Players have already managed to done this anyway, for 3 difficulties, in addition to time attack mode. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, honestly. But relatively speaking though, it's just a little bit more of a bragging rights, I guess. So anyway, so a few things we want to explain for this points today, and that is the fact that today's day is of course the 3rd of July today, in this case in 2022. And for those of you who lived in North America, tomorrow will be Happy Independence Day, you know, with the 4th of July kind of stuff. So even then, no, relatively speaking, I'm sure that Maxie will point it out until when he goes back onto Super Mario 3D All-Stars in the Super Mario Sunshine game. So, and ultimately speaking though, he might able to actually just decide to able to actually complete the entirety of Super Mario Sunshine in Super Mario 3D All-Stars version of the game during at some point in this particular upcoming week. So yeah, that should be pretty exciting. Does this actually work? I think it's somewhat average. I mean, it's balanced and stuff like that. Alright, so we're now on to round 4, so let's see what minigame are we playing next. Sheep Crossing. Rotate the round platforms to herd the sheep across the river. Who built this crazy thing? Well, God knows. Probably developers, I guess? Hold the remote horizontally and press left or right on the directional pad to rotate your platforms. I think depending on what specific pair minigames you play, I believe there's actually some of them will actually have like new record scores. So, for instance, in this minigame right here, we need to aim for about 20 points, so for the sake of the new record. However, the objective wise is the fact that we need to aim for 10 points in order to be able to advance, so yeah, I think that's where it's at anyway. But yeah, it's actually pretty simple and easy when you get the down of it though. So yeah, a few things I want to explain for this points today, and that is the fact that, well, recently I've managed to able to 100% everything for the likes of Sonic Origins for the PlayStation 4 recently. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking to yourself, aren't you going to save up the PS4 version as the actual Let's Play of Sonic Origins? Well, turns out we might as well able to decide to do it on the Switch version instead of the PS4 version, just because, well, relatively speaking though, it's just the fact that that's the only reason why. I think, relatively speaking, it runs very, very well on the Switch version of Sonic Origins, because obviously that when you're trying to play the games themselves, it runs very, very well. Especially noticeable, it's almost like, you know, think of like the emulation from the likes of Super Mario 3D All-Stars or something like that, even though it's hard to explain because it has been a couple of days since I actually done some of my recording commentaries and stuff like that, so, but yeah, relatively speaking, that's as far as I can try to describe about it. Alright, so far so good. Now we move on to the 5th round, so let's see what minigame are we playing next. Robot Factory. Another day in the Robot Factory. Work together to assemble the parts coming down the conveyor belts. And point the Wii remote at the part and press A to grab it. Matching legs and bodies will join together. Gotta think about it, this particular minigame kind of reminds me of the forms of bodybuilder from Mario Party 6, except the fact that rather than just using the GameCube controller, so instead we have to use the Wii remote the whole time in order able to just, well, assemble those robots, so. And the objective on this one is the fact that we need to aim for 7 points, so that's pretty much about it as far as objectives goes, so. But yeah, for the most part though, I just cannot even believe I managed able to complete the PS4 version of Sonic Origins, and as far as I'm aware, I enjoyed it. Although, mind you, I haven't exactly completed everything though, like for example that, well, if I was gonna do like the S rank runs on certain missions, oh geez, some of them are actually a bit of a pain to complete. For example, there was that mission called Tornado Flyby, that basically this mission involves around on the actual Sky Chase Zone from the likes of in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Well, basically, I have to collect certain amount of rings while the actual projectiles are shooting in the fastest rate, and I can never for the life of me never get an S rank from. Alright, Tippy Traverse. Run along the paths and reach the goal together. Keep the bridge balanced or you'll tip over. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and use directional pad to move. Gotta think about it, this minigame does remind me of the forms of one of those minigames in Mario Party 7 called Roper Slope, where basically you have to cooperate each other. And also this particular minigame also reminded me of one of those modes in Super Monkey Ball Banana Splits that's on the PlayStation Vita, because obviously we need to work together in order able to go across the level and stuff like that. Mind you, it's been a very, very, very long time since I actually did manage to play Super Monkey Ball Banana Splits on the Vita, just because the level design is just pretty much tough and all that stuff, and even a lot harder than I thought it was. But hopefully I'll get around into it though, assuming if about the fact that I'm pretty much gonna have to able to try to keep on playing the game on my own time for a bit, to get a lot of practice on these harder levels, so. But there we go, we've managed able to complete that particular objective. Pretty easy when you get the actual, the syncing going, so. Yeah, anyway, and there's also another mission in the, I would say in Sonic 3 and Knuckles portion, where basically, there was that one particular mission that some people might found as a little bit of a troublesome to complete, which appears to be extreme version of Tails' Balloon Burst. Holy Christ, that level is really hard. Alright, Bumper Crops sorts the falling apples, grapes, and bananas into the correct baskets. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and tilt it left and right to direct the fruit. Pull up to pass to your partner. Alright, seems like standard fare. And we need to aim for 30 points. In fact, Bumper Crops, that particular name is very familiar. Yeah, it appears to be exactly the same minigame name as in Mario Party 7. So, speaking of such, there you go then. And also this minigame does kind of reminds me of something related to, let's just say Super Mario Party called Fruit Forecast. because obviously you would be collecting food. But the biggest difference is there is all about motion controls instead of using the actual Joy-Con controls analog stick. But enough about that, because we somehow managed to achieve our goal by getting, what else? 30 points. Awesome and top notch as well. So let's just go ahead and place my Waluigi over here. Don't you dare try to place it. No, you're gonna make things worse because obviously it's gonna fall. And in fact, the matter is though is the fact that to make matters worse, your computer AI can be an absolute idiot in this. So, oh well, I was originally going to be able to try to complete this to you guys, but as far as saying goes, that's how this mode plays out. So, yeah, but if you somehow managed able to get on top, you were able to get a new difficulty, which, either way though, it is literally impossible in my opinion. So because of that though, unfortunately though, going for 3 difficulties, in addition to time attack variation of this mode, not happening on my playthrough, just because I always found this mode to be kind of challenging and difficult because of the forms of the scaling of balancing and stuff like that. But either way though, that's as far as I can usually try to say about this point, guys. So with that being said, we're pretty much gonna have to endings off this point right here. So join me next weekend for more of Let's Play of Wii Party. That is the fact that we'll hit on to the fun part in terms of Wii Party. That's of course the minigames themselves. To be more specifically, gem-packed with minigame modes. So I'll see you guys until on next Saturday for Battle Mode. So I'll see you guys then. Later, fellas.